Hey guys, this is John Anik from the UFC. You're watching the Fight Week Show. Please subscribe. Not now, but right now. Subscribe to the Fight Week Show. We'll see you guys on the road soon.
Welcome everybody to the Fight Week Show. My name is Ola. We have our new flyweight battle arena champion over here. We have Louise in the house, Louise Bennett. How you doing, Louise?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good.
We have to celebrate having our first female champion on the show. It's been an incredible journey for you. Um, could you tell us how you made your journey to the belt?
So are we talking before COVID, after COVID? It sort of picked up after COVID. Everyone wanted to get events out, so I've been pretty busy this year, and managed to knock out 3 fights quite
Wow.
early, and that's how I got the title fight. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, we know your head coach is AJ Jeffrey from the Peterborough gym.
hmm
And you know you're 4-0 as a pro. Am I right?
Amateur, yeah.
As amateur, 4-0 as amateur. Uh, and you know, newly crowned Battle Arena champ at flyweight, won by rear naked choke as well. Um, what's been your experience? Like you said, pre COVID and going into COVID is fighting something that you've always wanted to do, you know, growing up as a kid, or is this something you just picked up just off the whim of it? Tell us about that.
I always get asked this question. So, MMA for me, I've always been into sports, but I never really got into contact with MMA until about 2.5 years ago. Um, I got really into it, and then COVID happened, so it kind of tested me and how much I really wanted to pursue something in MMA.
Hmm.
And luckily, I loved the sport, so I continued throughout, and really it took off after COVID. So, yeah.
Okay, I mean, COVID did a lot for it done a lot for people in a positive way in terms of, you know, people that just wanted to try something new, people that wanted to look into new sports. And I felt like MMA was one of the go-to sports for a lot of people during COVID because
Mhm.
every other sport was shut down. But MMA, for some reason, was, you know, they were going strong, they were moving strong, and a lot of fights were being put on. So it drew a lot of people into the sport, and we have a lot more eyes on the sport because of that. And that's probably one of the positives of COVID. We can't say COVID as a virus is positive, because it's never positive when, you know, a lot of people lost a lot of people, you know, nearest and dearest, you know, through COVID,
Absolutely.
which I went through as well. I lost a lot of family members through it. But there's when something positive like this comes out of it, you can't knock it. And MMA has been big, and had more eyes on it because of that. uh, you you you
Absolutely.
you won with a beautiful rear naked choke, um that put, you know, a win that you pulled off to get the crown. How long have you trained in BJJ, wrestling, boxing, respectively, in those sort of facets of the game?
So when I first started MMA, I sort of dabbled in everything, took a coach here, there, and everywhere, just to get training in. But the more I've actually deep dived into it, the more
Mm.
I'm sort of staying stable within the routes that I want to go. So you'll see in my title fight, I wanted to take the floor to the ground, and that's predominantly where I spend quite a lot of my time. It is with jiu-jitsu. Um, it's just something that I love, a part of the sport which I love and pick up quite quickly. So for me, spending a lot of time in jiu-jitsu is something that I want to bring through, especially with females. A lot of females nowadays are getting involved in jiu-jitsu, um, rather than boxing and things like that. You see it coming through a lot more. So I love bringing that aspect to MMA.
Fantastic. I mean, you just mentioned being a female fighter there. What are the some of the added challenges for female fighters today? I mean, we've come a long way from the dark ages. You know, where
massively, yeah.
we've come a long way. Please tell us some of the challenges that you still have to go through in this sport.
A lot of it is just getting the awareness out there for females. I know I've come across a lot of my opponents in the past have only really been like the one or two females that have trained in MMA within their gyms. So it's really just about spreading the awareness for females, and that, you know, there is room out there for us. And, you know, you might try it once, not like it, that's absolutely fine, but you've stepped in and you've tried it. I meet quite a lot of females through MMA and have been friends with them, one of which, Roxanne Lewin. I'm still very good friends with her, and we met on MMA TV. She lives up near Wolverhampton, but we still make that time because it's another female to train with. So you get to experience a lot of different other gyms, meeting females, and being friends with them, and, you know, you never know where it could lead you.
So I want to ask you, I mean, we want people to remember you, all for the right reasons, all for good reasons. And once you've accomplished everything that you want in MMA, what would you want to, how would you want people to remember you? What would you like for them to remember you the most?
I think just being as humble as I am. For me, before and during the fight, I can be quite stern and not really want to speak to my opponent or high five them or whatever. But after, as soon as that bell's gone and the fight's over, I am one of the most humble people. Like, we've all been through fight camp. So you have to remember their journey as well as yours. So whatever I've been through, they've probably been through too. So, you know, they got in there with me and did the dance. So you have to respect that a lot. I kind of I'd rather be remembered for that than, you know, all the negatives that come with MMA, because there are some.
Yeah, all the negatives. And I wanted to ask you as well, I mean, what are like the build-ups and maybe the trash talking? What does that do for you mentally, going into the octagon, going into the cage to fight another human being? I mean, does it help psych you up? Do you lock it off? Like, how do you approach it?
There's been a few fights where sometimes I've engaged in the trash talking, but nine times out of 10, it does spur you on, because it means they're up for it as well. But me personally, I'm more of a, let's get in the octagon and we'll see who takes that dance and leads it. But, you know, the time will come where I probably will have to give it a good trash talk just to hype it up a bit. You know how it is. But for now, I'm just enjoying this journey, to be fair. Everything that's come at me has come at a good pace, and, you know, just to keep that moving forward.
Fantastic. Wanted to ask you on this next question here, and this is about you spoke about you know, going to your gym and it being, you know, 45 minutes away is one of the reasons why we've had to bring this interview forward, and we always do that to accommodate our guests. What would you say is the most brutal aspect of training, you know, as an amateur, and some of the challenges that you have to face in terms of training, and, you know, the hardest part of training as an amateur?
The hardest part as an amateur is actually just showing up. And the days where you don't want to be there, or you feel tired and your body's hurting. I think since I started MMA, there's only been a few days where my body hasn't absolutely hated me.
Wow.
But that's just part and parcel of it, you know, and especially at amateur. I mean, we don't get paid as much as pros, and we're there for ticket sales and things like that. So putting yourself through that training, even when you don't want to be there, is probably, I would say, the biggest challenge, especially having to drive 45 minutes. It's that dedication, isn't it, that gets you there, and then it's your motivation and your mindset of how you want to train and be there.
You're absolutely spot on. I mean, the dedication that I've spoken to, you know, a good number of fighters, and some of the sacrifices and dedication that you guys put in, and not just that, but the work ethic as well that you guys put forward, man. It's to be respect. To me, it's the hardest job in the world. I don't, that's how I view it, and I love the sport, but what you guys do, I can't congratulate you and salute you enough, for the dedication that you guys put in. What's your hardest fight since since you turned amateur, since since you've been going in MMA? What would you say has been your hardest fight, and
My
why?
hardest,
Sorry.
my hardest is all right. No, my hardest opponent to date will probably Camilla Bergstrom on Cage Warriors. That was more of a difficult fight for me because one, I've always wanted to be on Cage Warriors Southeast, so it was more special to me to be there. But also because she was a slight veteran, she had been on there numerous times before and fought at, for titles. So it wasn't just like another fighter who was coming up through the ranks. This is someone who's been in the ranks, also been in other ranks and had title shots. So for me, that was a big step forward and probably one of the hardest fights I've had to date.
Fantastic. What is your advice to up and coming fighters who've seen your success and inspired by you, and what you're doing? What would you say to those? What would you say to our viewers that that love your work and being inspired by you?
Honestly, just keep working hard, and if you really want to do it, it's something that you're really interested in, you love doing it and you want to compete, continue going for it. There's going to be days you don't want to do it and you don't want to get out and go training, but those days are probably the best training sessions you'll ever have. I would say also just get the right support network around you. That's a massive thing, which the team behind you is behind the scenes, but they're also there throughout the thick and thin of it. So have a good support network behind you and get your head down and do what's best for you, really.
Viewers, we're big on advices here, and you've just got one from a female champion, flyweight champion here, right from the horse's mouth. And thank you for that advice there, Louise. We appreciate it. How has your confidence built since being undefeated, now winning the belt? How much confidence does that give you now, not just securing the belt? Because I've always heard getting the belt is probably one of the easiest things, is keeping hold of it and defending it. How does the confidence of being undefeated help you along with that?
So confidence is something that I like to put into the category of your mindset. If you're confident as a person in your mindset, then your confidence will shine through in what you're doing. A lot of the battle is in our own heads. It's not so much fighting someone else. It's more about fighting your own mind. And that's something that people don't see a lot. But a lot of my confidence comes from believing in myself. And each win that I have had, I've grown from. They say that sometimes a loss is a lesson, but I've been winning and learning at the same time, which is what every amateur fighter really wants. So for me, it's just about continuing to stay positive and using that mindset as my confidence as I go through each fight.
Fantastic. Wanted to ask you as well, because I'm very, very conscious of time, and we appreciate that your time is very, very valuable, like we said off air. And I know that you got somewhere to be, so I wanted to ask you, your coaches and your gym, kind of what sets them apart from all these other gyms that you could have picked from, but you went to this guy specifically. What have they done for you? What sets them apart?
So I have just joined a new gym, which is the Longer Journey Gym, BST. And I chose to do that because sometimes the gyms that are further away are probably the better ones for you. I find after work and then having that drive, it clears my head. So I'm ready for training. But they've given me a lot in terms of who I want to be as a fighter. A lot of gyms try and makeshift you into what they want, things like that. Whereas this gym's kind of let me come in, let me do what I want to learn, and if I have any questions, they're happy to help me. They've got a few female fighters down there, which is another big point for me. So realistically, they have the people that I look up to there, and the people that I want to be surrounded by. So, you know, if you've got that, again, that support network, then
very important.
That's why I chose to travel with that gym. So
interesting, fantastic. Just gonna ask you two more questions. We've got two more questions to go. What's the most rewarding part of, because we just talked about how much MMA beat up your body, and you know, you don't even want to get up and go to the gym on some days. But what's the most rewarding part of being in this sport and being a female fighter in this sport?
For me, the most rewarding part is after a fight getting a Nando's. that's my reward for all the weight cuts, the diet, and I would also say just having that network with the guys you're training with. That's another achievement to have and look forward to having, because they're with you on that road to success. The harder they push you through training, the harder you're going to fight in these fights. So yeah, I would say that's another little achievement. If you can bring up these people with you, there's friends that I've had for years that have stuck by me that I'm bringing up sort of as I'm coming through. Yeah, that's just another achievement on the books.
Loyalty is big for us, and I can see it's a big thing for you as well. And look, we're gonna be with you throughout your MMA journey. We're gonna be rooting for you, all your upcoming fights, and all your future endeavors as well. You definitely made a fan out of us, and salute to Eric's Gear as well for pointing you in a direction. They've put this together for us, and big up to those guys. Look, before we let you leave, is there anything you'd like to plug? Merch, upcoming fights, sponsors, family members, stuff like that? Please shoot.
Just shout out to my new sponsor, like you said. Thank you for getting me involved and being a good support system. They were there on the night, so luckily I got to speak to them in person, which was nice. Yeah. Also, my other sponsor, Bold Eagle CBD, who have helped me since the first fight I had. Their stuff's quality. So if you can, head over to Bold Eagle CBD, or just hit me up on Instagram and I'll send you that way. But yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Louise, for joining us this afternoon. Like I said, I know your time is very, very precious. This has been another exclusive with a brilliant fighter, and check Louise out on all our socials. She's on Twitter. Please go and follow Louise on Twitter. I've retweeted her on my page, and on Instagram. You know, we know the MMA Twitter community is strong, and we want to get Louise involved in that, man. You know what I mean? And we're gonna definitely push you on that. We're gonna push everything that you got going on that as well, man. So fantastic.
Thank you.
And hopefully, we'll see you soon. You'll be a return guest on our show, right?
For sure.
Fantastic. And to everybody that's joined us this afternoon, salute to you. Hasta la vista. We're out.
Yo, guys, this is Adrian Yanez telling you to use those handles. Hit, click, like, and subscribe. Fuck yeah, dudes. If y'all don't do it, man, fucking catch the hands, bro.